What's up, guys? Today we're going to take a look at some cool stuff coming soon with the EMF 12-volt systems. A lot of people are always asking me, how do I have the different light setups, headlights and tail lights with underglow, horns, USBs, temp gauges, fun stuff like that. So we'll take a quick look at how a lot of my bikes have these little light setups going on for all this different stuff. Alright, so let's go ahead and check it out. So looking at some of these bikes, we can see different on and off switch options doing different things. So a lot of these switches are going to be universal so that you could pick out whatever you wanted to do. If you wanted these cut-in styles, or if you did like more of the on the bar style options to go ahead and turn your different stuff on and off, you'll be able to do kind of whatever you want. So please follow along carefully, and we'll do some more linked videos with the products when it actually gets released. So this all will be plug and play, and it will work with brake setups so that we can have working tail lights with working brake lights if you get it all from EMF. Now keep in mind, I am personally wiring all this stuff so that it plugs into each other. So if you see some of the same products elsewhere, it's not going to just plug into our system because I have to wire it to our system. Now I have worked pretty hard on this for a little while to come up with what I think is the most ultimate setup. This will give you different options for different kinds of switches in different places, along with different headlights, different tail lights, blinker options, and really whatever you want to do so that you can have different switches, different outputs, different accessories, and have it set up however you want. So essentially we're going to have mainly a 12-volt converter. That's how I run all my bikes. Now this converter I am just wiring so that it can go onto your O-ring terminals, onto like a FAR driver, a Kelly controller, or if you have like a Vivor, you can just hook your O-rings up the same as you hook your O-rings up to the controller, to your battery terminals, and then electrical tape kind of deal with the nut and bolt like I usually do. Alright, so starting off we'll pick a power source. So I did grab a Kelly controller out here for example. This is our positive, this is our negative. So we'll hook a positive and a negative up. It will have here hooked to this, and it will unplug for easy access, so you can unplug all this from each other however you mount it. Coming out of that, we'll have these two different clips here, we'll see, so that this will be universal. You could pick out a 12-volt converter. So we're going to jump over to this just for demonstration too, but you guys will also have this option if you have M12 batteries. You could run it on that if you didn't want to run it on your battery system. Alright, so basically we have our 6 adapter whip here, and these are all set up with different clips so that it's kind of dummy proof the best that it can after some testing from some of our beta testers. So this clip will plug into this clip just the same. We can see this open clip here, and that we would also have over here. So we're gonna see we have different switch options over here. So we're gonna, after picking a power supply out, we'll pick out a switch. Now all of these switches up top are going to be a choice. You could have a USB as an on and off switch. Your main power, if you wanted, that USB will always be on with your power when that's on. We have an LED on bars option here. We have our no LED on bars option here, and then we have our cut-in style LED option. Now we'll have red, green, blue, and white for the LED options like usual so that we can kind of match up. This will have red, green, blue, and gray options for this different colors on our switch. This only comes in one color. It's kind of a little extra just as a USB bonus charger as a switch. We'll also have some different options of this kind of switch, as in sizes, and one with a little power looking display option on there. So we'll grab this guy over here. Now we can see we have this plugged in. Now that is our main power to turn on, so we can turn on and off with that. So again, we could change out with this switch, for instance, with a no LED if that's what we wanted for on bars. This would work the same and plug in, and we could do it with our USB just the same. So either way, we'll pick that out. We'll go ahead and power this on, and that would be our main power running. Now we don't really have anything plugged in. We'll jump into that. Stick with me here, guys. It's about to be cool. So looking at horns, just because we have the horns set up right now, we can see it just plugs in. These are our auxiliaries that will just have this type of clip to plug in, and will be white to kind of lead you that way. So this is the type of clip that will be for your horn on and off switch, and just goes to a horn you can mount up and whatever. I just have this out because it's kind of a cool feature. with the Talaria throttles from EMF, or we do just sell the extension wire and it'll be wired like that. Coming soon, it will have the clip that we're going to do for horn switches, and this will honk the horn. So we'll go ahead and turn that on, and that will honk the horn. So kind of cool. Obviously, if you don't have that throttle, you'll be able to just obviously unplug this. You won't have that. This is the basic standard horn switch that you'll have an option for that you can plug in, and it will just be your basic horn. And then another cool option is going to be the combo of the horn and the 3-speed switch. We got to plug that in all the way. So you can have the horn there, and then the 3-speed switch, which has our 3-speed switch, which will bring us into having our high and low beams. So how I'm using the high and low beams is our 3-speed whip. So we'll get our 3-speed whip out and we'll plug that in. We can see the same white clip as an accessory. So we will plug that in. We can pick our lights out. You can pick, right now we have 3 options. We'll be adding more as time comes on. Basically just plug that into there. Either one will be either side. If you want to change high and low, you can just change the lights. And then we can see we have our 3-speed that plugs into this type of clip there. Alright, so with that plugged in, on your left hand side you'll have your low beams. In the middle will just be off, and then on the right will be your high beams if you plug those in for the other clip. And then you'll have your horn switch there. So kind of a cool combo to have. Now of course, if you don't have the horn and you just want the high and low beams, you'll just get the 3-speed switch that will plug in. Oops. And we'll plug in and the same thing there. So you'll just have your 3-speed switch for your high and low beams. So if you only want one headlight, again, you can pick whatever one you want. You can just pick the single whip, and this will plug into your accessory. And basically that power will turn on with your main power. So that'll turn on your main power, have that set up there. So you'll just have the main power, and when that 12 volt is on, you'll have that light pretty much always running, or whatever accessory is plugged into this. So if you just wanted to have underglow and you didn't want to have a on and off switch for underglow like we do, you could just plug underglow in. It's all wired the same, so that you could plug that in and kind of do what you want there. Alright, so with what we have plugged in, I'm going to go ahead and do what I call the safety set, and I'm going to pick out the tail light. And right now we just have 2 little options. It'll come with sticky tape and a little foam piece till we stick these to the back, is how we're attached onto these bikes like we looked at. So basically we'll have those padded up and done, but we'll pick out whatever light we want. This will plug right into your tail light whip. Now we don't have them out right away, we won't, but we do have this wired and thought for tail lights to keep unlimited tail light options open. But for now, we'll just leave those open. We have our tail light, and then again, we see our white clip that is for our accessories. So we will go ahead and plug that into our accessory clip, and we see our tail light pop on. So that's what I kind of like to call the safety set. Now we also have this that will come plugged in. If you do get the extension wires for like a bomb moto, you can use the brake light. You can kind of see me messing with it there, but this will plug into, this will be for the bomb moto whip that you'll have to pick out separately. That'll plug into your bomb moto for your brake lights to work, and then this whip will be for the EMF brakes that will plug in for your taillights to work for those brakes. So otherwise, if you don't have them, you can leave it plugged in and basically just leave it on high so that you're more noticeable if you want to, and then you can add on later if you get brakes from us or whatever. This again is left open for blinkers that were going to be a separate system accessory to buy, so keep an eye out for that if you're into it. So this is what I like to refer to as like the safety set, where we have our power source picked out either way, one way or another. Usually, you know, the converter. Right now we're on the bench, so we're using this. And then you just have one on and off switch. I picked this cheaper option out because there's no LED, obviously a little bit cheaper, so we'll have that one switch to turn on basically all of our accessories that we have plugged in. And as a safety set, I like to, you know, have a tail light, one headlight of your choice. That's the cheaper one, so that we just kind of have the cheapest set up here. And then a horn, so you can honk at people if they're in your way or whatever. So this is what I like to think of as a safety set, and then that leaves us 3 accessories open if we want to get some different stuff that we'll look into next. Alright, with the safety set here aside, we can kind of leave our other 3 openings here. So we'll have some different options. One of them that I don't have out here will be fans that are more for like EMX Brandon's mounts. Otherwise, we'll have some options probably for the My 1020 motor. So you'll be able to plug fan into whatever on that. So if you do want an on and off switch for, say, a fan or what we're going to call as an accessory, you could just get this whip, which is an accessory whip. So we'll plug that in. Again, we see our white clip. And this is what everyone wants to know, is the underglow with the cool switch is what I like to have. So this is what we've come up with. Basically the best idea of it. So again, we see the same universal clip that we have for our on and off switches. So we'll pick out whatever switch we want. We'll pick this one out, and we can plug this in here if I can get it one-handed. So we'll get that plugged in. We can see our switches on, lit up and working, same deal. And then we can pick out an accessory like a fans. Otherwise we could pick out one headlight if we wanted to. In this instance, we're going to just pick out our underglow. So we'll have underglow pick out. We have our on and off switch of our choice, and then that powers our underglow on and off. Now these are multicolor underglow. It will have an app for your Bluetooth. So again, if you wanted to just do the straight shot, you could get a cheaper harness without this and the switch to save a little cost. But it would all turn on and off one switch, and you wouldn't have that choice to, you know, have your headlights or taillights just on and then have the underglow off. The big one's the horn, if you want your horn on and you don't want to be running all this in the daylight. I like to have, you know, my switch for my underglow. So you can pick whatever you want. If you wanted to plug your headlight and just have one headlight, and you could pick, again, whatever on and off switch you wanted, like we saw on the blue bike earlier. That's kind of what he has set up, but he has the on the bar style. So again, we could come over, grab this, and kind of plug this in here. On the bars, red, green, blue, or white will have options, so you'll be able to power that on with that. Same thing for underglow. So hopefully you guys kind of get the interchangeableness that we've kind of created here, so that it's universal. I know it's a little confusing, but hopefully you guys kind of understand that we can universally kind of change our switches around, do whatever we want, you know, plug whatever switch we want as our main power. So if you started with a safety set and then you thought, well, I'd like my main power to be something different, you know, and then I want the USB or whatever and put this here, you can basically change all that around. Pretty cool options. I'm pretty excited about that. So one of the last options to look at for an accessory that we have right now is just the regular USB. So you could just have a cut-in USB. This is like I have on some of my bikes. But basically, we'll have to turn our main power back on here. So this, now we would have 2 USBs. It's ironic, but so this is a cool option. I would like put this maybe on my underglow or something that wasn't on all the time, but this is basically, you know, if this on switch is on, that's on, and then the rest of your stuff's on. But cool option there. But otherwise, if you didn't want that, then you could just have it as an accessory for a cut-in style. This basically cuts in. We'll check it out over there in a second, but yeah, so that gives us a bunch of our options. One last one to look at here. I know a lot of people wonder where I'm getting the temp gauge. So there we have a temp gauge in the package, and then it has just a little metal piece that I stick on the motor wherever I'm curious what the temp is. So that'll be available as well. Pretty cool stuff, guys. You guys will be able to pick this out soon. We did just finalize it, so it's probably going to be a little bit before we actually see this available on the website. But we are starting to get these wire harnesses produced and manufactured, and then we'll be able to actually offer this stuff. So let me know what you guys think and what options. We could do other lights. I just don't have these ready to plug in yet, so that's why I'm not showing you. Just a quick video here. We'll get more dialed in on the website. So it's kind of going to be tough to get it laid out on the website with inventory and how it all works. So I'll try to figure all that out. It's kind of my struggle right now. But I want to give you guys the ultimate options so that you guys can have cool bikes like mine without the headache that I've went through for years to get them working. So we have this 2AH M12 battery here. Basically just started this up with the USB as our main on and off